Hey everybody, it's Jimmy and Bill. So Bill, what if Florida didn't have any property taxes? You know, everybody's complaining about the property taxes in Florida and the governor is trying to do something about it. I always said Florida had two issues. One issue is homeowners insurance, including car insurance, but homeowners insurance and property taxes. And I've always said that if property taxes reach a certain level, it's like you are leasing your property from the county or the government.
And that's pretty much what the governor said.
That's pretty much what the governor says. So they're trying to make a lot of changes when it comes to property taxes, but it would be so cool not to have property taxes at all,
right?
Or would it? Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is, let's do a quick crash course on what property taxes are. The fantasy, what would happen if the property taxes disappeared? We have to talk about that, all right? And I'm not into property taxes, be up front. You know, I understand there has to be some for police, fire department, and everything, but not the way it is now. The reality, who pays for everything without property taxes? We have to look at that. Because you still need roads, everything.
Roads, sewers, trash, the whole shebang.
Who the winners and losers are going to be with no taxes? And would it actually be good for real estate? And that's what we're talking about today. All right, so in the meantime, as always, a lot of research goes into this stuff. Do me a favor, consider subscribing. It really does help out the channel. And if you need a home inspector anywhere in Tampa Bay, or you need a real estate agent anywhere in Florida or the United States, my phone number is below, and there's a text message. You can text message me or you can email me. All right, Bill, let's break it down. What are property taxes for? Property taxes fund local services, schools, roads, fire department. Okay.
Basics.
Calculated annually based on assessed value.
Correct.
Okay. And I don't think we have a fair system in Florida, and we'll get more into that. Florida has no state income tax, so property taxes are a big deal here.
Correct.
Okay. Rates vary by county. Some areas like Miami-Dade or Palm Beach are much higher. They are.
Yeah, down south for sure, they're much higher than here.
The homestead exemption helps reduce your tax bill for primary residence. That means say the house is assessed, throw it out, $400,000. You have a $50,000 deduction for a homestead, so you're going to get taxed on $350,000. But here's the caveat: your property taxes could only go up 3% a year.
Correct.
So 3% a year, and so that really helps. But that gives golden handcuffs to people because they can't sell their property. Like if I sold my property, I would lose all that savings.
Right. Well, you do have portability.
Well, why don't you talk about that?
That's a very complicated mathematical thing, but that I can't just talk about off the top of my head. I'd have to look at the formula, just being honest. But you can do portability where you're selling your primary residence and moving to another primary residence. And it'll help offset some of the difference. Some of the difference for what you sold to what you purchased. That's the very rudimentary. If you go to your counties, at least here in Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, and Pasco County, if you go to your county's tax assessor's office, they usually have calculators on there that do all the math for you. And then you can also say that you're going to transfer one homestead to another home, and then you put your numbers in. Basically, you'll input what your perceived sale price will be on the property you're moving to, and then it'll do all the calculations for you.
Okay, most escrow accounts include property taxes, but not always.
Correct. Yeah, you elect to escrow your property taxes.
Okay, investors, snowbirds, out-of-state owners pay full freight. Basically, they're paying the full amount. They don't get a deduction.
Right, it's not their primary
They
home.
don't have if values go up, their taxes are going up for what it went up.
Right, because it's not their primary home, it's a secondary. And that doesn't mean, just to be clear, that doesn't mean just because they live out of state that happens. It happens to people local who purchase a second home as well.
Yeah, even with your mortgage paid off, property taxes never stop. Sure, that's why I say if it's so much, And many homeowner taxes are one of the biggest annual expenses. There are some houses that I'm like, even if it's free and clear, some of the property taxes, $16,000, $17,000, it's freaking stupid.
Yeah.
It's really stupid. Okay, let's talk about the fantasy. What would happen if there was no property taxes, okay? So we all know. Massive cost savings for homeowners instantly boost affordability. True or false?
True. So now, are we talking fantasy?
Yeah, like fantasy. There's no more property taxes.
For anybody?
For anybody.
Okay.
For homeowners, primary residents, let's just say.
And that's still a far stretch.
It is a far stretch, and we're going to talk about that. That's why it's called fantasy.
This is super fantasy. All right.
All right, let me ask you this. If property taxes went away, could it drive up prices? More people can't afford higher payments. So would it automatically overnight say, okay, January 1st, there's no more property taxes. Is your house worth more the next day? And I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes.
Yeah. It's buggy out here today. It's weird.
Yeah. Can you answer it?
No, that's like that's super fantasy. I don't know if that would it go up the next day. No, nothing goes up the next. I'll give you the straight up. Nothing happens like that. At the end of the day, that question's silly because nothing happens. For you. No, well, you answer it then. You tell me.
Yeah, values would go up the next day.
The next day, 100%. You tell me the values are going to go up.
I don't know. It may go up $5 or $100, but it's going to go up because there's no more property taxes.
So then, in that theory, every single day your house gains in value because the land becomes more valuable. Even if it's a fraction of a penny.
If there's no property taxes, like, hey, you know, I had one person that could afford my house. Now I got 50 that can afford my house. I'm jacking up the price.
Okay.
Retirement becomes more appealing. Fixed income folks love this. Yeah, it's
of course.
It's going to love it more. Investors would swarm in, lowering holding costs, more profit.
Are we still in fantasy world?
We're in fantasy world. Right
okay,
now.
yeah, the whole world's going to come to Florida. Got it.
Yeah. Might shift buying interest from low tax to higher tax counties. So people are saying, hey, you know what? I couldn't afford Miami, but now I could. So
well, if the whole state doesn't have taxes, then it doesn't matter.
See you later, Tampa. I'm going to Miami.
Right. You can go wherever you want to go in fantasy conversation.
World. Okay. Yep. Could create a boom in second home and vacation home ownership. Absolutely.
For fantasy world, if this applied to everybody and everything, yes.
All right, I'll just say.
This is getting silly. Come on, man.
Right, I'll throw three more in there.
Come on, let's go.
Might supercharge migration from high tax states, yes. Monthly mortgage payments would drop. Could create housing speculation. People bet on price increases.
Yeah, okay.
All right, now
reality.
All right, let's go to reality.
Jesus.
Okay, jeez. Reality. Who pays for everything without property taxes? Local governments would lose billions in funding.
Absolutely.
Okay. Schools would be hit the hardest. Property taxes fund kindergarten through 12th education.
Correct.
So they're going to have to come up with another way. And we're going to talk about that
I'm just waiting until you get there.
Police, fire department, public work will need an alternative funding.
Yeah, everything that you rely on every single day will need alternate funding.
Okay, possible replacement, higher sales tax, consumption taxes, and service fees. Okay, here's my thing, okay? A lot of people are saying, we'll just have a higher sales tax. But the problem is, people on fixed incomes or lower income people are going to get hit the hardest with a higher sales tax.
Yep.
So that's not a good...
That's a bad choice.
That's a bad choice. The other one that they're talking about is we'll get investors to pay or second homeowners to pay. If they can afford a second home, they can afford to pay more property taxes. Yeah,
because they're paying more property taxes now.
Yeah, so why not double it?
Okay.
You know?
Fantasy again.
But people pull
Are we going to get to the plan that they've actually kind of proposed and talked about?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that. But I got to talk fantasy and I got to talk reality a little bit.
Okay.
Some suggest a flat annual home fee like a maintenance charge. Some people say, hey, you know what, each house is going to pay $1,000.
It's an option.
This is some of the stuff that they came up with. States like Texas and Florida rely heavily on property taxes. Without tax funding, HOAs might pick up more community duties. Like HOAs, like, okay, we don't have garbage pickup, public garbage pickup, so now you have to pay for a paid service.
Okay, but the HOA, but just in that note, because this is like they focused in on an HOA. But that it's going to be whether you have an HOA or not, because somebody needs to pick up the trash, whether you're in an HOA or not.
Well, this is what some of the elected officials are saying.
Okay,
we'll budget cut, and we'll fill in the gaps. We'll do a tourism tax or a sin tax, as alcohol, gambling, hotels might be increased.
I've heard that.
But that's going to we live on tourism. People would say, well...
That's why they want to tax it, and it's already up high enough as it is.
Going to Disney, okay, like you're saying it's not that expensive.
It's not.
It's not that expensive. It's expensive. He has an annual pass. That's why. And he's a Florida resident, so you can just go there inside for free.
Yeah, it's not that expensive.
Okay, wealthy areas might float, rural and low-income areas would suffer. So basically... Some people are saying, we'll just tax people at these income levels and they'll separate. People that make so much money or on fixed income don't have property taxes. and they'll budget depending on what your income is.
Could you imagine that, like reporting and budgeting nightmare for the county and the local and state governments? Jesus.
All right, let's talk about winners and losers. Winners, high value homeowners, massive savings year over year.
Yep.
Okay, another winner, real estate investors. Yes, winner, snowbirds, second homeowners. Yep, but again, let's talk about this. They're talking about now, they're switching the talking to that people that homestead and live in Florida.
Right, well, let's get to the reality stuff here. This is still hypothetical. Yeah, we're still talking hypotheticals.
Okay, winners, retirees and fixed income. Losers, renters, public school families, local governments, new home buyers, service workers, small towns that rely heavily on tax revenue.
Right, and that's all potential depending on what one of the crazy things that we talked about ahead of time versus what they're actually proposing. That's what I think is important.
All right, what are they proposing?
You've got the list right there.
They're proposing a sin tax and a sales tax. They're still proposing that. They're like, okay, we will just charge more for tourism. And I think it's a bad idea.
Even if it's 1 or 2% more, because what is it, 33% right now for a hotel tax?
Yeah, but they're probably, they'll say, okay, at the beginning it'll be like,
it'll be like boop, 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 up like normal.
And it'll be like 75% by the time they're done, It's stupid because they're going to realize that, you know how much revenue these owner-occupieds are?
Yeah.
And like we were talking before, there's going to be a lot of divorces. People are going to divorce. Like, okay, you going to homestead that one?
And I'll go homestead this one.
I'll go homestead this one, but we need a divorce.
Right.
That's what they're going to be telling people, They're talking about sales tax, Another person's like, we'll just raise sales tax.
Yeah, I see, but like how many more, like it's just, again, all you're doing then is just changing hands of money. It changes it from one person to another person. It's not really fixing the problem. If I've got to pay $6,000 a year in additional property tax, sales tax, or whether it's property tax or sales tax or tourism tax, $6,000 is $6,000.
Well, Texas actually tried this and it failed, just so you guys know. Okay, Texas tried to, Florida tourism, people are arguing it's going to hurt because, a family of 5 going down and trying to stay in a hotel, go to Disney or do whatever.
It's gonna, at some point it will, because there's only so much money to be had, and then eventually you're gonna tax yourself into oblivion.
So now they're talking about, okay, this is what they're actually talking about. They'll start with senior citizens and veterans and targeted relief.
Correct.
People with fixed income and everything.
Yep.
Okay, they're not talking about second homeowners anymore, or or
and I don't remember them ever talking about second homes or investors on anything, because
they're going to try to put it in the ballot initiative for 2026.
Yep.
And of course, everybody's going to vote yes.
Of course.
Who's going to vote no? Oh, do you want us to eliminate your property taxes? No.
Right.
It's so stupid.
But just keep in mind, we're going to have to get the money from somewhere. So, depending on where it's coming from.
The two biggest things, the 3 biggest things, they're talking about budget cuts across the board, try to be much leaner.
Yep.
Okay. Like that thing they did for the federal government to find, what is it called? Elon Musk started?
Doge.
Like they're going to do like a Florida Doge thing.
Yeah.
And then they're going to we'll increase sales tax, we'll increase tourism tax, we'll increase taxes on sin tax, gambling, all that stuff and everything.
And potentially, I mean, that makes sense because the state does, we've paid down our debt tremendously in the state of Florida, and we've done very well with that. So now we have a surplus. We're getting to that point now, which is really good.
And then some other people suggested, okay, instead of a $50,000 exemption, we'll do it at $100,000 or $150,000 exemption. These are more realistic things.
Right. The realistic is either if you've paid your house off, like a flat fee that you're paying something for, the sewers, roads, lights, things like that. That's realistic. If you've paid your house off, because you're right. At some point, you don't ever own your land or your house. It makes
because if you don't pay your taxes, they're gonna take it away
from you, and that's silly. You've paid for it. You own it outright. Whether you saved up the cash and bought it all at one time, or you paid for it over the years, it's your property.
And some of them are just saying, you know what? We have a surplus right now. Let's give the money back to people with a homestead. We'll give them an exemption. up to a certain point for the next 2 or 3 years.
Right, but I don't need a bump for a few years. We need a long-term solution.
But I'm just telling you what the lawmakers are.
Well, everybody wants that. I need that cash in my pocket that I'm going to blow through. Think about that. You're going to blow through that, and then what happens in 3 years? What about that long-term, 20 years down the road thought when you're actually retired?
Here's my suggestion. Instead of $50,000 exemption for people that are homestead, make it a $150,000 home exemption. Maybe if you're retired on fixed income, make it a $200,000, or change the millage rate. Or instead of 3% every year, cap, make it 1%. Because I can tell you right now, our taxes have gone up 3% every year, and now that values are going down, in Florida, because I just looked at Pinellas and Pasco County, and they're saying there's going to have a 3% drop in values, according to Zillow and all them.
We'll see.
We'll see. Okay.
That's fantasy world again. We're speculating half the year.
Let's say it happens. Okay. Let's say 3%. I still guarantee you, when I open my tax bill, it's going to say it went up 3%.
Okay. Well, we'll see in January.
I mean, that's the only way of doing it. Eliminating property taxes, I don't see it happening. I really don't.
No, you're not going to listen. You're not this. No, I don't know any person that's been talking about this in our government that's going to eliminate property taxes. It's a real good catch line on a YouTube video. No more property taxes.
Oh, yeah.
But they're not talking about that. The reality of it is they're talking about doing it for people who own their homes or are in a certain economic situation, which makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then maybe even alleviating some of these property taxes across the board.
Or retirees like me, I'm going to be retiring soon.
Okay.
Eliminate my property taxes.
Come on, Grandpa. But to that point, to be on a serious note, that makes sense when you hit that retirement age, when you can start collecting your benefits.
Yeah.
Your AARP and all your Social Security and your Medicaid and Medicare and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Part B. Then you kind of swing into it. But I totally understand that. I really do. I do agree with you 100%. If you own your house, really.
Come on. What's the sense of owning? I know people that own their house free and clear, but they're still paying $12,000 a year in property taxes. Paying $1,000 a month to the government for rent.
Right, that's basically all it is.
But they do need to do something.
Absolutely,
they need to do something, because right now property taxes and homeowner insurance is killing the Florida real estate market. I know I've seen so many deals die because of homeowners insurance and property taxes.
Yep.
It's like the #1 killer and stuff. They got to do something. It's getting unaffordable. All the locals are moving at us. People are retiring now in Florida and moving to Tennessee or moving to the Carolinas or something. I see it all the time. Okay, they have to do something, or it's just going to get worse. I don't see it getting better. And I'm very passionate when it comes to property taxes, especially if you're overpaying. That's today's video. Do me a favor, comment below, tell us what you think, and consider subscribing. It really does help out the channel. It's greatly appreciated. And we'll talk to you in the next one. And watch this video right here. I picked it out just for you guys, and we'll see you soon.
See you on the next video. Thanks for watching.
Bye.